Hey guys, Neomis here. Now for today's video, I want to talk about the Europa League game between Olympiakos and Arsenal. That's right, Olympiakos 0, Arsenal 1. Arsenal get the away victory in the Europa League. But we got to talk about certain people. Joe Willock, awful game. I'll be giving my thoughts on that. Also, Bernd Leno, man of the match performance. David Luiz showing why he is a leader in this team. And also, Bukayo Saka again showing why he's a Dondona of all Dondonas, future world-class player. But stay tuned to all of my comments on the game. Please continue to comment, like, and subscribe. Now, let's get started. So, I don't know if I should call it another game of two halves, but it really was. Olympiakos 0, Arsenal 1. Alex Lacazette scoring the goal of the game, the only goal of the game, in a game where I wanted more. And again, like I'm like every other fan watching their team. I want more. I want more goals. I want more assists. I want shots. And it just wasn't one of those games. Now, I probably would have done a preview for this, but you guys know things happen. But let's just dive straight into my thoughts on the game. So in the first half, which I thought overall was tepid and poor, and here's why. I mean, virtually hardly anything happened in the first half of this game. And it was just Arsenal really flat with just a lack of energy, a lack of conviction, like something just wasn't right. And so I took a few kind of notes on the game. And for me, you start watching the game and you start thinking, this feels like a Champions League game. Arsenal, Olympiakos, only 2015, the last time we faced Olympiakos, Olivier Giroud hat-trick at the Emirates. And it was just one of those games where it was going to be tough. And it looked like it was going to be a tough game. Olympiakos came at us, lots of energy. Like, they came very close to scoring twice. But then after, the first 15, probably 20 minutes, that was kind of it from them. And then it was left to Arsenal to try to do something. And my biggest criticism in the first half was that there was a serious lack of creativity in this game and within the Arsenal midfield. So how we really started off in the midfield was Granit Xhaka, Guendouzi and Willock, almost in like a diamond three within midfield, with or kind of like a 4-3-3 with Martinelli on the left, Aubameyang on the right, and Lacazette up top. But Willock playing further forward, not really like a central midfield player, but almost like as a number 10, being someone that could be that link between the attack and the defense, which is what his primarily role was. And it's the most important role. It's the role that's almost like the Ozil role. And that was his responsibility today. And for me, I can honestly say that he absolutely failed at that today. Until he came off, things were looking dreadful. He managed to get chances, he fluffed his lines. He would get a chance where he himself could have scored, messed it up. Just so many misplaced passes, so many times where just making the right decisions. And this is the problem with Joe Willock. I've talked about Joe Willock before this season and even last season, that Joe Willock has the potential to be that number 10. Someone that could really progress and be a midfielder that could do, for me, a little bit of everything, where he could become a complete midfield player, where he could create and score goals. But that's like at the end of Joe Willock at his peak. But 20-year-old Joe Willock right now just isn't that type of player. And I commend Mikel Arteta for giving him that chance to do that. But, I mean, Joe Willock is missing 3 things from his game. 3 things. And as the game went on, I really saw it. First touch. Awful, awful, awful first touch. Joe Willock has got a shit first touch. I saw Martinelli pass the ball to him, and because the ball had a bit of pace on it, like, didn't control it properly. The defender gets the ball and we lose the ball. Like, so many times that happened, not just within this game, but I've seen Joe Willock do it plenty of times. His final ball, just the quality of the final balls, 8 times out of 10, is just not good enough. It just isn't. And then on the mental side of it, you've got a player who constantly is not making the right decisions. He's about 3 seconds too slow in his decision making. And a lot of the times you're just like, make the pass sooner. Like, you see Saka or you see Martinelli running, pass the ball to them so that they don't become offside. Why are you driving through the ball and then later you will then want to pass it to them because, oops, now a defender's in the way? This is the problem with Joe Willock. And so many times during this game, it happened. And if it's not the final ball, then it's just general finishing, which I think he had about 2 or 3 chances. For me, just wasn't it. And even though they weren't clear-cut chances, I still expected something more. I expected that final ball, that chance on goal, just something more to happen. And maybe I'm expecting too much from Joe. You know, he is young, but for me, that's not his, like, he should not be at a number 10 right now. I thought Dani Ceballos should have been playing in that position. And I'm surprised I didn't see Dani Ceballos start the game initially, especially when he played so good in the last game as well, so against Newcastle. But for me, Dani Ceballos has to play at number 10, if not Mesut Ozil. Joe Willock, I think he would do well in our central midfield, a player that's going to take the ball and help drive the ball forward. Maybe instead of like a Guendouzi, definitely. For me, Guendouzi probably has to go more to the bench because it's either going to be Guendouzi or Xhaka in those type of games. But nevertheless, Joe, just go to one side for a sec. But overall, nothing much in the first half. And then in the second half, okay, things started a bit slow, but things really didn't change until those substitutions came in. And it all started when Joe Willock when Ceballos came on for Martinelli, which I wanted Martinelli to stay on. I'm a fan of Martinelli, and the Martinelli-Saka bromance that I talked about, a month ago, I wanted that to continue, but Ceballos comes on, Willock stays off, which at the time completely disagreed with. Then Olympiakos, they managed to get a few more chances in the second half. Really good header from Bar, but that was stopped by Leno, which I thought was a great save. Leno being my man of the match in this game. And then Arteta in like the 70th minute finally takes off Joe Willock, and it was the best decision he could possibly have made throughout this whole game, because Joe, unfortunately, I have to say, was the issue, because he was playing in a position that required him to produce. And that's not to say that he's a bad player, but he needed to produce. He needed to have a good final ball. He needed to score a goal, or he needed to create an assist. But that didn't happen. Joe finally comes off in the game, and yeah, Joe comes off, Pepe comes on, and things start changing. Things immediately change. And later on in the game, within 10 minutes, Granit Xhaka starts off the pass within midfield, passes it to Aubameyang, and the ball looks like it's going out. Aubameyang keeps it in, waits for Saka for the run, intelligently passes the ball to Saka, who crosses it in, and Lacazette gets a tap in. And what a nice, well-worked team goal it was. Nice team goal. It was coming. You just knew. I just knew once Willock came off, I knew things would change. And that's how it looked. And again, that was the first. We had more chances where Pepe could have scored closer to the end with a break when he was looking to go through on the counter attack. Lacazette had a final one where goalkeeper saved it. There was a set piece that we had that Socrates and Mustafi had shots on goal. Socrates hit the crossbar. Mustafi's one just a little bit wide away from the goal. Both of them went down with cramps, but eventually Socrates came on for Maitland-Niles. And the game ended, that's in terms of being 1-0 to the Arsenal. And overall, I thought the game was not enjoyable to watch. It definitely was a bit of a stinker. But I do have to say that I like the fact that we won the game, that Arteta decided to make the changes that he did, and it is the changes that he did make. And I don't know if he kept on Willock because he wanted to give him a chance. I can't remember the last time Willock really got a long run of minutes within a match. So he probably needed that for his confidence. And probably when people like me come up and do these videos talking about Willock, you didn't do great, like maybe that's not good. But you know what? I got to call a spade a spade. And I didn't think Willock had one of his best games today. But when you look at the starting 11, you take Willock aside. Saka, for me, again showing that he is a top player. And he's going to be an incredible, potentially world-class player for me. David Luiz, the rock in the back of our defence, really communicating with the defence. I thought him and Socrates and Mustafi, I thought played incredibly well today. The whole back line I had no problem with. Leno, man of the match, I thought he kept us in this game. For me, Guendouzi and Granit Xhaka, I thought did okay. Granit Xhaka, obviously, because he started off with the creation of the goal with his deep line pass to Aubameyang, so I got to give him something there. Martinelli, okay, but I thought that Olympiakos were prepared to deal with Martinelli. I think they did their research and found out, if Martinelli's playing, you need to shut him down, and I think that's what they did. But when Aubameyang did his stuff there in the second half, who I thought had a pretty decent game as well, so almost in a similar position as like a Granit Xhaka, did some things wrong, but overall a good performance from the guys. Well done to Lacazette for getting his goal. Again, it's another confidence boost for him, and hopefully on Sunday he can go and score another goal against Everton to keep on this unbeaten run that we're having in 2020 so far under Mikel Arteta. But guys, let me know your thoughts on the game. What did you think? Because I'm somewhat buzzing. I wanted more from the game. I did think that we would probably win like 2-1, so I guess this is somewhat close. But leave your comments below on the game. Please continue to comment, like, and subscribe. And yeah, I will see you all next time. Peace.